Smarties, we are so excited, and I am personally so excited to welcome my client, Luke, to the podcast. Luke shares why he initially started working with me, and that was because he wanted to improve his ability to organize, his ability to study, and he wanted to learn how to be less reliant on his memory. He shares how simplifying systems and learning to keep everything in one place was transformative for him, and he shares that learning how to study was a game changer. Smarties, if you are interested in having your learner work with either one of our practices, please don't hesitate to sign up for a phone call. You can sign up for a phone call with me for my practice, Kapp Educational Therapy Group, at www.kappedtherapy.com. We specialize in learners who struggle with executive functioning skills challenges, 5th grade through adulthood, or you can sign up for a phone call with Steph's practice, M.Ed Therapist, which is located in Redondo Beach, California, and Manhattan Beach, California, and virtually everywhere. Oh, by the way, Kapp Ed Therapy is virtually everywhere as well. And her website is www.myedtherapist.com. Let's dig in.
You want to learn faster, but sometimes working harder is just not the answer. You have to learn smarter. The Educational Therapy Podcast.
Hi, Smarties. Welcome to episode 374 of Learn Smarter, the Educational Therapy Podcast. I'm Stephanie Pitts.
And I'm Rachel Kapp.
And today we are excited to have one of Rachel's students on the podcast. Please welcome Luke to the show. Hi, Luke.
Hello there.
I am so excited for you to share sort of a little bit about your journey, but also I'm excited for you because doing something like this retrospective, we do it intermittently, you and I, but I think having this overall retrospective for you is going to be really cool and really meaningful. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name's Luke. I'm a 17-year-old rising senior. I'm a high school student, live in Los Angeles. I love playing sports, basketball, soccer, football. Love watching them as well. I play piano in my free time, spend time with my friends and family. And yeah.
And you teach me about F1.
Yes, I do that as well.
We talk about that a lot, which, by the way, I haven't had a chance to tell you, but I saw the movie this weekend.
Oh, really?
I loved it. Have you seen it yet?
I have. Yeah, it was a really good movie. So
okay, so you're getting an endorsement F1 movie from me and Luke. Steph, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's totally one you should see in the movies. Like in the theater, I think.
Oh, okay.
Totally agree.
It's basically like 2.5 hours of Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt, but I'm here for it.
Of course.
Like, I totally enjoyed it. Okay. So, Luke, going back to this episode, what initially brought you to working with me and to educational therapy? How did that conversation start at home and what happened?
Well, I was a 7th grader and I've always been I've relied on my mind for a lot of things, memorizing things. When I was a kid, I didn't really study so much. For a while, I was able to get away with it. But once school started ramping up, especially towards the end of middle school, my parents felt that I could use some more executive functioning skills. I agreed because at that point I was reluctantly using my planner and looking at my schedule. I preferred just have it memorized. So that's what brought me here.
Did you feel open about the experience? You're generally very coachable, which we find to be true of the athletes that we work with.
Yeah.
But what were your initial feelings prior to us meeting?
I was sort of just excited to try something new. My organizational skills weren't great at the time, as I kind of just said, but yeah, I was happy to get on board. So
the reason I bring that
agreeable is yeah,
it's like magic. It's like
everything you ever wanted.
It's a little bit of a unicorn for a middle schooler to be open and amenable to this, but you've always been down. I never felt any resistance from you. You would question and we would talk about stuff, but it was never, sometimes things can get combative as we're trying to win a learner over. So
yeah, it's true.
Well, just because they don't want to make changes, right? And it's a vulnerable thing that we're asking you guys to do. So I totally get it.
Let's talk about when you first started. What were some of the goals that you and Rachel set up for you that you remember?
Well, some of the first systems that we put in place were organizational systems. So I was all over the place at the time with where I had my papers. I would just shove them all into a folder. And the first thing that Rachel really had me do was to have one collective binder for all my classes. And that was a very, very firm rule. Very firm, because I would ask, I would rather have one for each class. And she was like, no, it has to be all in the same binder. And I'll touch more on that later on. But once I got to high school as well, we started using a digital calendar, Google Calendar, which really helped me stay on top of my meetings and appointments and stuff as time went on. But just putting those foundations in place, really, they kind of introduced me to the basics of organization. Those were the first steps for me.
Very important steps.
I'm laughing that you said it was like a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
I explained why, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you remember my explanation at all about why you couldn't have, or why I didn't encourage, like, because ultimately I can't force you to do anything, right? Like, you have to decide. But do you remember why I suggested having multiple folders and binders would not be the best plan?
I think what you would say was everything in one place, right?
Mm-hmm. And it mitigates the amount of decisions that you have to make. I mean, this feels like old stuff for us, you and me, because this was a long time ago for us. But I didn't want you to have to make extra decisions about which binder you needed to bring home every day.
It was all about simplifying everything.
Yes, yes.
I love that.
Yep.
Okay, so this was some years ago, obviously. So tell me, now that things have fast forward some years, where are you now? What's different?
Well, as I mentioned, I used to rely on my memory for like what I would have, like, oh, I have soccer at 5 this evening, so I'm going to pack my bag in the morning. I would memorize my classes and rarely look at the schedule. I got away with it most of the time, but nowadays with everything so much busier, I keep all my appointments, my assignments, my meetings, I keep them all in my digital calendar. I developed that system as I got older. I sorted it into a bunch of categories like exercise, my appointments, my homework. I color coded all of it. So it was easy to check everything at one glance. I use my to-do lists frequently, always on the side. I have different time frames that I put things on, like needs attention now for later in the long run. That helps me keep track of all my tasks and make sure I get things done. I reorganized my whole desk recently, actually. So my whole workspace is better for schoolwork and stuff. But yeah, I'd say just a lot more simplified and very personalized. So it's easiest for me to maintain and take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a calendar for F1 races too, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I put all my sports events in my calendar as well. So
both the sports you're participating in and the sports that you want to watch too.
That's right.
We prioritize that. Okay, so a couple of things I want to share about that, because I'm sure Steph is like, oh, you let Luke have a pretty advanced calendaring system. You know, Luke, that I have like a million calendars as well. So does Steph.
Yes.
But for clients, generally, we like keep it really simple. But as time was going on, Steph, he was independently maintaining his systems. And I was noticing he was making them more sophisticated. And I was just kind of like, we're going to let this ride because he's maintaining them. So he would do things like he would have one calendar or one color when an assignment was in progress, or when it was complete, he would change it.
Yeah, I changed the color. Yeah.
Yeah. For another learner, hard no.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because it was another thing to do. But you are so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like your calendar is your main point of contact. Like it's your first and last thing you do. Is that right? It
is, yeah. When I get up in the morning and I eat my cereal, the first thing I look at is my calendar to see what I have that day. So, and
you're constantly updating it. It's rare that we update it in session. Like you own that. So that's why I wanted to say he gets more leeway. Smarties.
Yeah, well, high follow through. Fair enough.
That was always sort of true about him. So I'm curious. We've worked together a lot of years, and frankly, you and I have talked about this. I don't know that we still need to be working together, but we're connected and it keeps you on track. I like seeing you, and it's more of a casual thing between the two of us. But I'm curious, what do you remember that we did that made the biggest impact on you? outside of foundational systems? Maybe?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing, and I'm coming back to this again, but it didn't just manifest for my binders and stuff, but to keep everything in one place, just so you don't have to look in multiple places for things. You don't have to wonder where anything is. I centralized my physical organization with binders or binder for short, and centralized my digital organization. It's my Google Drive. I also learned a couple study strategies. The biggest one for me was like a traffic light system, red light, green light, and yellow light. If you don't know something, you create a list of everything within a certain topic or subject that you want to study for. You run down the list, you give things red, yellow, or green. Whatever's green, you review less. Whatever's red, you review more. It's pretty rudimentary, but it helped me a lot in prioritizing what I need to study.
I agree about that was a big one for you. First of all, you do have a fantastic memory, so you would remember a lot. So I think considering the whole picture and figuring out where you needed to go and actually spend some time was critical for you when you were studying for things.
Okay, so tell us about how all of this organization has made you do all the things that you want to do, because you sound like a very busy guy. If you've got, multiple sports you're playing or game or teams and watching multiple things and doing all the things.
I think that staying organized, it almost like puts me at ease, like I can rest easy, not worrying that, maybe there's an appointment I didn't put in my calendar. Maybe there's an assignment I forgot to do. When you have a system in place that you can trust, it keeps you on top of all the things you have to do. It also helps you to avoid procrastination as well. If you put everything into a spot where you can see it, it helps you get your jobs, your tasks done. So my organization systems, they let me see everything that I've scheduled or need to do at a glance, and that makes it trivially easy to know what I need to do and get things done.
I love that you brought up the procrastination piece because, and here's the thing that I want to say about adding the sports, I've always encouraged you, add the social stuff, put that sort of stuff on your calendar because all that stuff is important. Your life is not just academics, your life not just soccer. Because if you can see it on the calendar, you can make decisions and prioritize your time around that. Can you talk a little bit, because you are far and away one of the busiest learners we have in the practice. You're involved in a lot of things. You travel quite a bit. Can you talk a little bit about your sense of time in relation to how busy you are?
Yeah, of course. I think, as you say, I have gotten very busy as high school's gone on. I have several commitments, like I have soccer, music, spending time with friends, a lot of schoolwork, of course, as well. I think as I've gotten busier, like my sense of time has become sharper, more intentional, almost like more critical, if anything. For instance, during the recent AP testing, there was a point where I was just like constantly thinking, I need more hours in this day. I don't have enough time to do the things I want to do. And that was really the peak of where my time management skills really came into their fruition. I used to rely on my memory a lot, and I didn't think much about how my days were structured. But now with an increase in like my responsibilities, I realized over time as life got busier, how important it is to know how I'm spending my time and how much time I'm spending on certain tasks. Like back in the day, I could have gotten away with playing video games for 3 hours on a day. These days, with all the other things that I do, if I tried to do that, that would take away from my sleep. So I think that being organized helps me just to manage my workload better. I feel like I'm in control, especially as a high school student where life can get very hectic sometimes.
And like we talked about as you were going through AP, SAT season, all of that, second semester of 11th grade is far and away the hardest 6 months ever. And things will gradually get simpler. And I think that's something that sometimes parents don't understand is how many commitments and responsibilities high school students have and how many transitions throughout the day you have to sort of shift through. It is so much more than an adult. Like most adults go to work, leave work. And like even my own transitions, I'm working, I go to pick up my son, I'm working, I'm helping with something. Like, it's maybe 5 or 6 transitions throughout the day as opposed to easily you have 20, 25.
I was going to say 25. Yeah.
It's about to get better. And you're almost at second semester senior year, which I'm so excited for you. You're almost there. We're going to get you there.
You've told us a lot about the things that you feel have made you successful. But what are those big strategies that you would tell other kids, other parents that work for you so that you make sure that you get done what you need to get done?
One of the biggest things for me, kind of as Rachel just touched on, she mentioned the transitions throughout a day that a high school student has to go through. That leaves you with a lot of small time gaps throughout the day. You know, you finish a class, you have like 15, 20 minutes before the next one. You have to figure out when are the best times where I can get my work done, because the average day for me will look like I have a bunch of class periods with a bunch of small breaks in between, a longer lunch break, which I want to spend with my friends rather than working. A small amount of time until I have to go to a soccer practice. And then I'll drive home. I'll have to take a shower. I'll usually have a meeting of some sort. And then in the evening, I'll have a longer amount of time to work. So mastering those time gaps and getting small things done within those, like running errands almost. Like if I have 15, 20 minutes during the day after between classes, I might run down to the library and try and knock out like 10 questions for part of a homework assignment. So just managing even the smallest time gaps gives you more time later to do bigger projects, because I think when you have like longer homework assignments, you have to take almost like 15 minutes to kind of get ready to do it almost, to get into the flow of something. So I feel that if you know how to manage your time and you get smaller assignments done in smaller time frames, managing your time like that, that's helped me out a lot, I think.
It takes me right back to high school because I would do the exact same thing. Oh, I have 15 minutes. I can get this done. And one of the things that I love that you said was, let's say you get 10 questions done of an assignment. Maybe there's 15 or 20, but you didn't not do it because you wouldn't finish. The transition can be hard for a lot of people to stop, but starting and stopping is making your future self appreciate that you had already done 10.
Exactly. And that's another thing that Rachel's taught me, and it's been really big for me. A huge tip is to start working on something big just for a short amount of time, like 15, 20, 30 minutes. Start working on a big essay. If you can knock out a paragraph, psychologically for me at least, it gives me comfort, like I've already started it. Now I can come back to it and build on what I already had instead of starting from the ground up. You know that you already have something there. You know that you're part of the way done. At least for me, it makes me feel more accomplished, more productive, rather than simply using that time to just mill about before doing something else. It helps you, I think, stay in the flow of a school day. Yeah, I'd say that's one of the biggest things that's helped me out. So
I love that. Because it's so true. To not have that blank page staring back at you, just put something on it. Even if it's a copy of the assignment, just put something on it so that you're not looking at like that blinking line. Okay. So how have things changed at home as a result of our working together? I'm curious.
At the beginning, I wasn't very on top of scheduling appointments or anything. Obviously, I was younger then, but nowadays, I schedule most of, if not all of my appointments when I have to go to the doctor, when I meet with a tutor, when I meet with my coaches for either feedback or to do a training session. So whenever my parents will schedule an event, it used to only be in their calendar, and I'd kind of just ask them every morning, what do I have today? That was like the first thing I would ask when I go down for breakfast. Nowadays, I have them send me a calendar invite. So I see it on my end as well when they invite me to something, and I can see, oh, we have dinner with Uncle Bob tonight. So it allows me to plan a little bit more accordingly.
I will say that your parents have been extremely collaborative and coachable in this process of including you on those things and helping you become the manager of your time, and then sort of moving more into the consultant role, which is something we talk a lot about on this podcast.
What would you tell other kids about the whole process of educational therapy?
I'd say the first thing, especially with executive functioning, is that you have to find something that works for you, because if you don't, it becomes 100 times harder to stick to. if it doesn't cater to what you need, like I have a system in place that would not be, I don't think, ideal for a lot of other people because it's very specific to what I have scheduled. I have a heavy load on soccer and athletics, so that takes up a large part of my calendar. For others, it's all about personalizing, I think, for executive functioning. You have to have a system in place that works for you, because if it works for you, you're more likely to maintain it. And as your life gets busier and busier, it's more and more important to stay organized. So I think the better that your system works for you, the more likely you'll be to maintain it and have a productive lifestyle. So,
and how lucky are you that you figured out before you go to college what system works for you? Because most people don't really either figure it out in college. Sometimes people don't figure it out until they're in the work world. Sometimes people don't figure it out at all. But I think for you, you have an advantage. When you go away to college, you're going to be very ready.
Oh, yeah. No concerns from an executive functioning standpoint, and really no concerns at all. I'm more just excited for you to witness it.
What do you want to major in?
I really like economics and finance. Financial analysis is something that's pretty exciting to me. Doing a summer program this summer at the Wharton School of Business in their San Francisco campus. They're hosting like a sports statistics. They call it their Moneyball program. It focuses on how like analyzing sports statistics and data. It's just kind of a dream combo for me because I love reading after like a basketball game, the latest F1 race, like how one team won, just looking at like the data. That's something that's very cool to me.
You definitely need to do something in that. Luke, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. And you're such an amazing example of taking suggestions and making it your own and becoming the organized student that you always wanted to be, I'm sure, and making your life easier and better. I love hearing stories like this. Like you can sit there and reflect and say, okay, here's where I was. Here's where I am now. The process worked. And congratulations on that. So before we sign off, can you please say our signature sign off, which is have a great week, Smarties?
Have a great week, Smarties.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.